Most people know the Lawrence Hall of Science as a public science center. Every year, 200,000 people from the Bay Area come to engage with science by exploring and doing. The Public Science Center also hosts classes, camps, and workshops for kids and adults. More than 50,000 students come to the hall on field trips annually. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. Because of our emphasis on education, we take more programs out to more kids in Northern California than all the other Bay Area science centers combined, including the Exploratorium and the Tech. In a typical year, we take engaging science directly to 550 schools and 98,000 students, sending our programs as far north as Redding and as far east as Tahoe and as far south as Fresno. But that's still a small part of what we do. We work with 20,000 teachers annually, regionally, nationally, and even internationally through our collaborations with 60 sites and centers, with our publishers, with school districts from New York City to Los Angeles, and with partners as distant as Japan and Jordan. No other like organization has such broad reach. Our biggest impact, however, is through the wide range of materials we develop and publish for elementary and secondary kids in and out of school, reaching at least 25% of the nation's kids at some time during their K-12 experience. We've created a comprehensive hands-on, minds-on program called FOSS, which stands for Full Option Science System, because it's been tested to work with a variety of kids, teachers, and schools. You might have heard about it because it's used in half of the districts in California. It's also used in half of the 100 largest school districts in the United States. In addition to FOSS, we have a collection of 60 short units called Great Explorations in Math and Science, GEMS for short, that give teachers a guide for 2 to 3 weeks of activities that they can use to take a break from a textbook, to try hands-on science without committing to doing it every day, or to string together their own program. We started GEMS to give school kids experiences like the ones we provide here at the Hall, adjusted for classroom realities. Chevron, Hewlett-Packard, and Boeing McDonnell Douglas, among others, have contributed to the development of GEMS guides. We've sold nearly 1.5 million GEMS books and reached more than 176 million students. This summer, at the Panasonic Center in Japan, courtesy of Toshiba, 30,000 students visited Environmental Detectives, a hands-on exhibit based on a GEMS guide. But that's still only part of the GEMS story. What's good for classrooms is also good for homes, so we've repurposed a dozen GEMS kits for families. You can find them in the toy section at Target. Millions of kids are not going home after school, so with support from several foundations and Oracle, the Hall is developing after-school kids science to provide the thousands of after-school programs that want to teach science but don't have engaging materials to do so well. And coming full circle back to the schools, we know that literacy development is paramount for elementary students, especially with heightened accountability for reading. So we've created Seeds of Science, Roots of Reading to develop science and reading simultaneously. Not only does Seeds introduce kids to science ideas at an early age, it's been shown to increase reading skills at the same time. Librarians saw the beauty of that approach, using science to hook kids on reading, so they're helping us to create Check Out Science, another opportunity for families to do something interesting and fun at the kitchen table. Finally, we want to talk about a very different kind of program, the East Bay Academy for Young Scientists, created by Kevin Cuff, a geologist who recognized that in order to really understand and enjoy science, you have to do science. For 3 hours a week after school, over the whole school year, his middle and high school students choose an environmental science research goal, collect samples, analyze results, draw conclusions, and present their findings to people in the community. Stephanie Lau was a student at Oakland Technical High School, and like the majority of Kevin's students, she comes from an extremely low-income family. Kevin was able to link her to an internship in a Cal chemistry professor's lab. She went on to become the valedictorian of her high school class and now attends Cal as an undergrad, the first in her family to attend college. She's also become an employee of the Hall, serving as a lab assistant and helping the next group of kids learn about science by doing science. She was among the students who presented their work to the American Geophysical Union annual meeting in San Francisco. At Oakland Tech, Only 3% of the ninth graders test proficient in algebra, and fewer than half of the students fulfill the admission requirements for the California State University. Yet, of the students involved in Kevin's program, 63% enroll in advanced science and math courses. 70% have been accepted to four-year colleges. 75% of these have elected to major in a science discipline. So, we have evidence that we make a difference. What if we could put Kevin's program in a dozen high schools in the Bay Area, or create the tools that others could use to establish that kind of program in a dozen urban areas? How many innovators could we identify and nurture? What if we could put the after-school kids science kits in the thousands of after-school programs nationally that would like to do science well? How many science-savvy young people could we add to the workforce? What if we could put seeds of science in the hands of thousands of elementary kids, or check out science in thousands of libraries? How many of the young people with these experiences will grow up to be voters who ask, "What's your evidence for that claim?" How do we fund all of this? From many sources. We compete successfully for federal grants. We reinvest the revenue from publishing educational products. We have partnerships with corporations. And, as part of the University of California, we receive money from the state. As you undoubtedly know, state funding is shrinking dramatically, which puts pressure on all publicly funded organizations, not just ours. We see this challenge as an opportunity, a chance to dramatically restructure our funding profile, reduce our reliance on public funding, and expand our partnerships with forward-thinking companies. We want to work with you to accomplish big things for our children, our workforce, our country. Why should you invest in Lawrence Hall of Science and not some other worthy organization? We run the Hall as a business and provide a great return on investment because we leverage your contributions many times over. We test all of our programs for efficacy and usability, so your investment goes into scaling up programs that are proven to work. Finally, we get maximum return out of these winners by repurposing them into as many different formats as possible: classes, exhibits, school curriculum, after-school programs, library kits, online content, toys. There are many ways to partner with us to accomplish your goals and support our mission. A few examples illustrate the creativity of our partners. Adobe has been very generous with software and tools to help us create our content and programs. Palm gave Kevin 100 slightly out-of-date trios that work just fine for collecting data in the field. Chevron was refreshing their desktop systems and donated computers to the Hall that were newer than those we were using, and they're sponsoring the Ingenuity Lab in our Science Center. L'Oreal wanted after-school programs on the science of beauty. Kits on skin and hair science are in production now. Time Warner Cable will soon air PSAs that promote the importance of science out of school to 14 million customers who can then type in their zip codes and access a directory we created for programs like ours across the country. Oracle's $1 million gift is helping us scale up our after-school kids science program and to test the best ways, face-to-face versus YouTube-style videos, to train their employees who volunteer at the Boys and Girls Clubs, not only in Redwood City, but also in regional partnerships. Your interest, advocacy, and talents can make a big difference for the future of the Bay Area, California, and the country at large. Thanks for your interest in supporting the Lawrence Hall of Science.